It doesn't begin with fireworks. It begins with a quiet bargain you make at midnight. Tomorrow, I'll choose differently. Then the scroll, the search, the familiar surge that scrapes the edges off a hard day. Minutes dissolve. Afterward, the room hasn't changed, but your mind has split. Lighter and lonelier at once. Here's the psychology under the surface. The brain learns that secrecy plus novelty equals rapid relief. The prediction of relief becomes its own lure. Shame compresses the time to the next just once. The ritual stops being a choice and starts being a script that cues itself. Context, tension, click, release, hollow. You tell yourself it's private, harmless, normal, yet the hours keep vanishing, attention thins, and intimacy feels farther each week. The habit is choosing for you. What counts as too much isn't a number, it's a footprint. It's when regulation gets outsourced to a ritual you no longer author. We won't moralize. We'll separate appetite from avoidance, desire from compulsion, and relief from repair. You'll see why shame accelerates relapse, why streak obsession backfires, and why design beats willpower. By the end, you'll have a small experiment, a nightly closure ritual, and a scoreboard you can actually keep. Clarity rebuilds control. For now, take a quiet inventory. How often did you postpone sleep for a better clip? How quickly do you act after the first urge? Seconds, minutes? Which hours and rooms are most predictive? Note 3 common triggers: place, hour, emotion, and trace the first 2 minutes that usually follow. You're not judging, you're mapping. Treat the next minutes like a lab, not a trial. Small levers move big habits. Relief is genuine, so is the loss of authorship. The same ritual that smooths the day's roughness can quietly appoint itself the night's director. What began as chosen pleasure starts predicting itself. Cue, craving, click, release, hollow. Two truths can coexist. You enjoy the sensation, and the ritual increasingly decides for you. When "I'll do it" becomes "it happens." Psychology has shifted from desire to compulsion-adjacent scripting. No diagnosis required to feel the drift. Name the function honestly. Appetite, escape, sedation, reward, or protest. Functions aren't sins. They're levers. When you see the lever, you can choose the pressure. Take your time, but don't pretend you aren't choosing. Pleasure without control becomes a leash. Before tonight, write a single sentence that completes this frame. When I'm stressed, the ritual promises nah, but it actually costs, so put it by your pillow. If an urge rises, look at the sentence and breathe for 6 counts before choosing. If you proceed, log 2 words: the function you chased and the cost you paid. Repeat for 3 evenings. The next morning, scan your tiny log and circle any repeated pairings. You're not blaming yourself. You're recovering authorship in real time. Remember that ambivalence is normal. Part of you seeks relief, another part fears the aftermath. Bringing both parts into view reduces the automatic quality of the loop. When you name the function, the script slows long enough for a choice. Counts don't define compulsion. Consequences do. Clinical thresholds center 3 domains: time lost beyond intent, marked distress afterward, and interference with work, sleep, or intimacy. Frequency matters less than functional footprint. Consider latency, how fast you act after an urge. Consider secrecy, how often you hide. Consider rebound, irritability, fog, or social avoidance that follows. High libido is not pathology, it's context. The question is whether regulation has been outsourced to a ritual that narrows your life. Define too much as outsourced regulation with rising collateral. When that footprint expands, shame adds fuel by compressing time to the next episode. Footprints outvote feelings. Debunk number 1. If I stop entirely, the problem is solved. White-knuckling removes a behavior without adding a regulation skill. Boredom tolerance, stress discharge, and loneliness care still need practice. Better metrics create better choices. Track authorship, not abstinence. A simple slider from 1 to 10 after each episode. How authored did that feel? Often reveals more progress than counting days. Notice when latency shrinks from hours to minutes, or when you dodge plans to preserve the ritual. That's collateral by speed or avoidance. The antidote is clarity without drama. Create a 2-line ledger this week. Line 1, authorship after episode, scored 1 to 10. Line 2, collateral. Write 1 concrete cost, sleep lost, skipped call, fog at work. Review every 3 days and set a micro goal that targets the bigger line. If authorship is lowest, train delay. If collateral is highest, protect 1 hour. Imagine your reward system as a camera with auto exposure. Flood it with bright shots, and ordinary rooms look dim. That's baseline drift. The brain normalizes high-intensity novelty. Regular pleasures feel flat, so you chase brightness just to feel okay. Each chase pre-spends tomorrow's dopamine, a hedonic debt that demands repayment as dullness, irritability, or restlessness. This isn't moral failure, it's calibration. 2 levers matter: spacing and contrast. Spacing increases the distance between hits, so receptors reset. Contrast pairs the ritual with low stimulation practices that rebuild sensitivity. Slow walk, untimed shower, eyes on the horizon, ordinary conversation. Debunk number 2. If I feel flat during a reset, it's proof I'm broken. Flatness is the nervous system retuning its gain. Expect a short extinction burst. Urges that spike precisely because you're changing the schedule. Flatness is repair, not failure. Treat the next week like a calibration lab. Choose a 3-night window. On nights 1 and 3, replace the final 20 minutes of screen time with a deliberately dim routine. Notebook, warm lamp, slow breath, no scrubbing for novelty. On night 2, do what you'd usually do. Each morning, rate ordinary pleasures, coffee, music, sunlight, from 0 to 10. Also rate irritability and restlessness. Compare the patterns. If dim nights raise ordinary pleasure scores, extend spacing by 15 minutes on 2 more nights. If restlessness spikes, schedule movement earlier in your day so your body doesn't ask the ritual to discharge pent-up energy. Lucas isn't reckless. He's tired. The apartment is quiet. The message he hoped for didn't arrive, and the blue rectangle on his desk is the easiest doorway to enough. He promises 1 minute. He scrubs to the perfect moment, because the perfect moment promises maximum relief. He finishes. Relief lands like warm rain, followed by a thin wind of regret. He tells himself he needed it, that tomorrow demands focus. He'll sleep now. Morning arrives sanded down. Meetings feel farther away. He ignores a text he meant to send. By lunch, the promise returns. Tonight will be different. That promise is the loop's favorite line. Debunk number 3. If I were stronger, nights like this wouldn't happen. Strength without strategy is theater. Loops love empty promises. Sketch your own 2:17 a.m. on a single line. Hour, trigger, thought, action, aftermath, next day cost. Write it once without drama. Put it where you'll see it before bed. If drawing the whole line feels heavy, shrink the task. Write only the hour and the first thought. Precision breaks fog. Then choose a single disruption for tonight's chain. Move the phone to another room, set a true lights out, or text one person a benign check-in before midnight, so you aren't bargaining alone. Tomorrow morning, add one observation about the cost you actually paid. Repeat the same disruption twice more, regardless of last night's outcome. Strategy gets a vote every night. Habits aren't only choices. They're cue scripts. Research on cue reactivity and incentive salience shows how small signals, closing a door, putting on headphones, sitting in a certain chair, start predicting relief faster than thought can intervene. Context stitches itself to urge. Bedroom plus night plus phone becomes a single object in the nervous system. The novelty hunt strengthens it further. Variable rewards, a better clip, a perfect angle, act like a slot machine, training you to check just in case. When you feel, "I didn't decide, it happened," you're feeling a learned sequence firing in order. Cue, craving, approach, relief, regret. The good news is equally biological. Plasticity. Cues can be rewritten. Distance and delay can be conditioned. Triggers are learned, so is freedom. Run a 3-day cue audit, write 3 columns. Cue, meaning, move. Under cue, list the first 5 signals you notice before an urge. Hour, place, posture, headphone case, lighting. Under meaning, write the promise your brain hears. Relief, numb, reward. Under move, design 1 2-minute interruption that doesn't argue with the urge. Change rooms, switch light temperature, walk a loop, wash your face, open a book already staged. Keep the interruption identical each time. After 3 days, strike the weakest move and replace it with a simpler one. Consistency beats intensity. Repetition, not willpower, teaches your body a new script. Drive is biology, so is regulation. Saying it's just hormones hides 3 different jobs the ritual may be doing. Discharge stress, soothe loneliness, or reward effort. Conflating them keeps you stuck because each job needs a different tool. If it's stress, you're sedating arousal. If it's loneliness, you're substituting intimacy. If it's reward, you're over-indexing novelty. Treat appetite with permission and pacing. Treat avoidance with compassion and approach. Treat sedation with movement and rest. Debunk. White-knuckling isn't strength. It's brittle control that snaps on the first bad day. Systems lower the bar when you're tired, so your future self isn't negotiating at midnight. Systems beat willpower on bad days. Pick a single job the ritual is doing most nights this week. If it's stress, anchor a wind down. Dim lights, device in another room, 2 pages of anything non-stimulating, fixed lights out. If it's loneliness, schedule 1 low-stakes connection you can keep. A 10-minute voice note swap, a walk with a friend. If it's reward, create a tiny celebratory loop for finishing work. Stand up, breathe, music for 1 song, then non-screenplay for 5 minutes. Keep the loop embarrassingly easy. Track whether urges arrive with the same intensity afterward. If the job changes mid-week, rename it. Don't fight the data. Clarity personalizes tools. Shame promises control by punishing you. It delivers speed. The harsher you talk to yourself after an episode, the faster the next urge arrives. Secrecy narrows attention. Rumination spikes stress, and stress seeks relief. That's the paradox. The emotion meant to stop the behavior shortens the runway to it. You don't need to love the habit to loosen it. You need to stop rehearsing the narrative that you are uniquely broken. A simple mental pivot, name, normalize, negotiate, slows the loop. Name. I feel the urge and the shame about it. Normalize. Urges are learned, so is unlearning. Negotiate. I'll give it 2 minutes after an interruption. As one succinct line puts it, shame accelerates secrecy. Secrecy accelerates shame. Compassion is a performance enhancer. Write a 30-second post-episode script now while you're calm. 3 lines. I'm human, not hopeless. What cue did I miss? What's the smallest repair I can make tonight? Put the script in your notes and read it verbatim after any slip. Then make one concrete repair. Text the friend you dodged. Set tomorrow's alarm 10 minutes earlier. Lay out a book by the bed. Repeat the identical script the next 3 times, regardless of outcome. Consistency, not self-disgust, lengthens the time to the next urge. Run a 48-hour micro-experiment. Log 1 full urge cycle. Time, cue, first thought, action or interruption, aftermath. Post 1 surprising pattern you saw and 1 move that actually fit your life. If you're comfortable, share your post-episode script line that helped most. Your data will teach someone else and make your own system stick. All or nothing sounds clean. It often runs on panic. When you swear eternal abstinence, you turn one behavior into an identity that must never crack. Then life does what life does. Stress spikes, sleep collapses, loneliness visits, and the first slip detonates the identity. Catastrophe thinking arrives. I've broken the streak. I'm back at 0. The mind protects itself with more of the very behavior meant to be banished. The moral neatness of never again hides a psychological trap. Rigidity increases rebound. Debunk number 4. Streak length is not a character score. It's a brittle metric that ignores context, latency, and collateral. Better to measure lag time, urge arrow action, recovery time, slip arrow repair, and authorship after episodes. Measure lag time, not legend. Sketch a 3-row scoreboard you can keep on a hard week. Row 1, lag time, minutes you delayed. Row 2, recovery time, minutes to do 1 repair. Row 3, collateral prevented. Sleep kept, plan kept. This week, set a single rule. If a slip happens, log it without story, and execute 1 tiny repair within 15 minutes. Water, light stretch, set tomorrow's alarm, lay out a book. At week's end, circle the row that moved the most. Expand the winning metric next week. Let losing metrics rest. Flexibility beats absolutism when stakes rise. Change a habit schedule and the nervous system protests. That spike, craving louder, thoughts stickier, is the extinction burst described in learning research. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means the old prediction error is being updated. Without a plan, the spike feels like proof you're broken. With a plan, it's noisy data you already expected. Plan 3 things in calm: an interruption, a time-boxed delay, and a post-slip protocol. Interruption: a fixed 2-minute routine that changes body state. Face wash, hallway walk, window open. Delay: promise you can decide in 5 minutes after the interruption. Post-slip protocol: a pre-written card that says exactly what to do. Hydrate, jot cue, action, aftermath, choose 1 repair. Prepare the slip, shrink the damage. Write a literal slip card now. Line 1, spike equals update, not doom. Line 2, interruption, your 2-minute move. Line 3, delay, 5 minutes, decide after. Line 4, repair, single action you can do half asleep. Put the card where the ritual begins. For the next 3 urges, run the sequence even if you end up proceeding. Plans teach the body that choice exists mid-surge. The goal isn't to win every spike. It's to reduce automaticity and shorten recovery. Picture Sunday night. You scroll to mute the dread, telling yourself relief will help you sleep. The biology disagrees. Short sleep erodes impulse control and heightens amygdala reactivity the next day. Boredom adds kindling. Stress supplies the match. The ritual becomes a cure for problems it quietly amplifies. Foggier focus, thinner patience, shallower sleep. The danger hours aren't random. They're circadian. Evenings with blue light and unstructured time are where your nervous system whispers, "Sedate me." That whisper isn't weakness. It's physiology asking for design. Tired brains bargain poorly. Redesign 2 zones, the last 90 minutes and the first 15 minutes of your day. Night. Set a lights out and a tech handoff alarm. Stage substitutes before evening. Book on the pillow, lamp warm, water at bedside. Morning. Create a tiny opening ritual. Exposure to daylight, a glass of water, 30 seconds of stillness. At a plan A/plan B. A when you're average, B when you're depleted. B is embarrassingly easy, 10 pages, then lights. Track which plan you actually used. Reality beats intention. After 5 nights, compare. Which small change protected the most sleep? Keep that one and drop one flourish you didn't need. Is the ritual safer than closeness? Many people chase solo novelty not because they hate intimacy, but because intimacy includes unpredictability, being seen, and the risk of disappointing someone. Porn scripts certainty. No negotiation, no awkwardness, a guarantee of climax. The brain learns a dangerous inference. Connection is costly, consumption is easier. Then the contrast punishes actual closeness. Bodies don't sync on command, conversations wobble, and expectations imported from high-stimulation media don't fit reality. That mismatch breeds avoidance, not improvement. You don't fix it by shaming desire. You fix it by practicing tolerable closeness. Connection lowers compulsive pressure. Pick one graded step toward human connection that doesn't hinge on performance. A walk with a friend, cooking with someone, a slow kiss that can end with laughter. Put it in daylight, where novelty seeking is quieter. If partnered, try a 3-minute presence drill. Sit facing each other, breathe, share one true but small feeling about your day, then stop there. If solo, schedule 2 micro-connections this week, one social, voice memo to a friend, one embodied, class, stretch group, dance. Notice whether urges shrink after social nourishment. If they don't, log the context. The job may be stress, not loneliness. Secrecy makes you the defendant. Stewardship makes you the custodian. You are not the sum of episodes. You are the person designing conditions for better ones. Identity work is subtle. Not grand affirmations, but repeated, ordinary proofs. A steward handles attention the way a gardener handles water. Daily, gently, with boundaries and forgiveness when the weather misbehaves. Replace the story, "I'm a mess" with, "I'm a manager of inputs." Managers make dashboards, not epics. Identity is repeated evidence. Build a 4-box nightly closure you can do in 2 minutes. 1. Today's cue I noticed. 2. One lever I pulled. Delay, design, move. 3. One repair I made. 4. One gratitude unrelated to sex or screens. Keep the page visible. After 7 nights, read them aloud and circle any phrase that makes you quietly proud. That sentence is an identity seed. Repeat it tomorrow morning. Create a tiny symbol of stewardship, ring on a different finger at night, notebook on the pillow, or a silent phrase before lights out. Symbols train attention the way handles train hands. Keep the symbol. Shrink the drama. If a stranger walked into your room for 30 seconds, what would they predict you do at midnight? Whatever they'd predict, your nervous system predicts faster. Architecture whispers instructions. Make the default path boring for the ritual and easy for the alternative. Friction is not punishment, it's gravity. Increase the distance between cue and payoff. Device out of the bedroom, charger in the kitchen, screen filters on early, media restricted to one chair, not the bed. Add fuel to the alternative path. Lamp warm, book open to a dog-eared page. Water within reach, a timer that counts down to lights out. Default beats willpower at midnight. Pick 2 friction ads and 1 fuel ad tonight. Friction ad examples: remove private browser from your phone, relocate headphones, log out of autofill sites. Fuel ad examples: cue a playlist that means sleep, set a 2-minute kettle routine, place your notebook on the pillow. Commit to these for 7 nights without evaluating them nightly. At week's end, keep the single change that made the biggest difference and retire one that felt performative. Architecture should feel supportive, not punitive. You're building rails, not a cage. What counts as a win tonight? Not moral victory, not a lifelong vow, just one clean outcome you can author. Define it before evening. Perhaps lights out on time, or device sleeps elsewhere, or delay 5 minutes and decide after a walk. Give the win a closing ritual so your brain experiences completion. Water, write 1 line, lamp off. The point is to end the day authored, not to audition for sainthood. Perfect streaks collapse under real life. Clean wins stack under it. Tonight only, win small. Write a 2-step closure you'll keep even on your worst day. Step 1. A cue that ends input, airplane mode, device docked. Step 2. A body cue that ends the day, stretch, breath, lamp. If a slip happens, still complete the closure. Completion trains endings. Tomorrow, mark a single check next to the day if you kept the 2 steps. After 10 days, count checks, not episodes. Checks build confidence. Confidence reduces bargaining. Tonight deserves a finish line you can cross. You've mapped the loop, adjusted the lighting, and named the job the ritual tries to do. You learned why extremes rebound, how extinction bursts are noisy updates, not doom, and why 2 tiny metrics, lag time and recovery, tell the truth better than streaks. You practiced presence without performance, traded secrecy for stewardship, and built rails that carry you through bad days. Desire isn't the villain. Unexamined design is. Design is kinder than shame. Identity is repeated evidence. Keep the scoreboard humane. Keep the rituals honest. Keep the story small and repeatable. Tonight, define 1 clean win you can author, close the day on purpose, and let that completion be your proof. Authors don't wait to feel ready. They finish and learn. Next episode, rebuilding desire without the crash. Restoring sensitivity, reintroducing novelty wisely, and making closeness feel like fuel, not threat. Bring your slip card and the single metric that moved. We'll build on both.